Reading You've Reached Sam in one sitting. All I know is that this book has made people cry. Okay, I'm crying. The yearbook like, are you joking? No, because always doesn't always mean always. Halfway done. This writing is beautiful. Their connection couldn't last forever. You have a whole life ahead of you. There's so much to look forward to. Final page. This was one of the best books I've ever read. Describe the grieving process in such a beautiful way. A top read of 2022. 5 stars, no questions asked. Gonna go tell my family and friends I love them. I decided to read full tilt. But then it got too much, so I stopped and started it again the next day. The writing was so beautiful. I started to get teary again. It was heart-wrenching. I couldn't stop sobbing. The promise he forced her to make him. I will never be able to forget this book. 5 stars, no question asked.
I'm going to talk about all the books that have made me cry, and I'm going to rate them on a scale of 1 to screaming, crying, and throwing up. One of the first books I ever cried to, this was sort of my introduction to books that'll make you cry. I was definitely sobbing. So like 3.5. This book is a 5-star though, just saying. Our Violent Ends. Loved this duology. I definitely cried at this book. Like a 1.5 out of 5. I hated this book. It made me cry, but I think it was because I was actually kind of like triggered. I think I cried like a 2 out of 5, and also the book was like a 2 out of 5. Another one of Colleen Hoover's books. This one, you really need to check the trigger warnings. This is not a romance book. However, I connected to the story and I was screaming, crying, and throwing up, so I would rate it like a 4 or a 5. This book made me cry really hard. How dare you? I rated this book a 4 out of 5 in terms of how much I liked it, and I would probably say this is like a 3 out of 5 for how hard I cried. Exhibit A. If you didn't cry at this book, I am seriously impressed with you, because I sobbed. I sobbed. Those last few chapters, I was game over, bro. This is like a 3 or 4 out of 5. Listen, this book is not sad, okay? It's not a sad book, but it is my favorite fantasy book ever, and I cried at the end because I didn't want it to be over. So 1 out of 5, but a 700 out of 10 for how good it is. So a lot of people say they cried at this book. I did not cry. 0 out of 5 for crying. This is the book that I cried the most at. I still actually cry thinking about this one part. 700 out of 5 for crying. Just this one part. You know what part I'm talking about. I'm literally... No.
Reading. Reminders of him. In one day.
I couldn't whisper when you needed it shouted.
Wow.
But I'm singing like a bird now.
Pain.
The birds hung above, but never would form.
Dear Scotty.
Like a cry at the final breath that is drawn.
The letter.
Remember me, love, when
I can't stop crying.
Is a straight to your shine in glorious
The epilogue. Reading 1,000 boy kisses in one sitting. Literally have no idea what this book is about. 15 pages in and the tears have started. That's why she stopped talking to him. My heart just broke. I want to dance in the rain. The gallery and Carnegie Hall. Esther. Last 30 pages. He gave her prom. Kiss 1000 when she returned home. Final page. This book broke me. Truly beautiful and equally devastating. An instant 5-star read. I'm not okay. Everyone go read this.
Hi, this is part 1 of me reading popular sad books to see if they're actually sad and if they made me cry, I guess. I went for The Way I Used to Be by Emma Smith, which is a book about a girl who was raped by her older brother's best friend and how she deals with it and how it impacts her afterwards. So obviously check trigger warnings before reading because it is a heavy subject. But I still think everyone should read this at least once. Like, it's so well written and the characters are so realistic. I made it to like the last 100 pages before crying. Like, it was so sad. After reading, I just felt so empty inside and I stared at the wall for like an hour. And I'm still thinking about it now and I read it like a week ago, so definitely read it.
Imagine picking up your phone and hearing your boyfriend with another woman. You hear kissing and smacking and even a little moaning. And he even says her name, Kira. And it breaks your heart because you knew that he had an interest in her. Your relationship has been slowly crumbling over the past few months and he's been seeking her out for advice about you. You were right to be suspicious, and after your horrible fight a few hours ago, it feels almost tragically poetic to be getting this call now. But it's okay, because starting tomorrow, you're going to make him pay for what he's done. You're going to make him want you with the intensity of those first few months when you were getting to know each other. He might be moaning her name now, but give it a few weeks and he'll be choking over yours through his sobs.
Okay, so I'm finally off of work and I'm gonna get started with this one right here. My initial emotions, I'm scared, crying, and throwing up on the inside, but I'll take y'all along for the ride. So I made it to chapter 5 and I'm having a great time. Like, I love the characters, love the character development, love the banter, and I'm getting attached to people, which I know I shouldn't do, but you know, we're here now. I made it to a stopping point, which is chapter 10. Nothing's really has happened. They do the deed. The only questions I have and concerns is this whole sibling thing. And these diary entries are so sad. Like, oh my God. Day 2, I'm on chapter 12 and I'm hanging in there. I'm scared. So I've made it to chapter 19 and I'm already emotionally drained. I don't know what the hell Lily got going on and I hate the doctor. Day 3, I don't know. I don't know if I should prepare myself to cry or what, but it's getting pretty emotional. Oh my God. No, he didn't. I just finished the author note. I'm not okay. 5 stars.
I have only ever cried to 4 books, and I read a lot of sad books, so I thought I would show you the 4 books that have made me cry, and some honorable mentions. Little Women was the first book that ever made me cry, and even if you're not big on classics, I'm not a huge classics reader, you can really enjoy this one and really get into it. It's not even that sad throughout, but there was just a couple moments. Orbiting Jupiter had me sobbing. It is the only book I've cried that much to, and I will recommend it forever now. It is a new favorite, a 5-star, and so sad. Then Reminders of Him. It was my first Colleen Hoover book that I read, and it did have me in tears. It is a great story, and I cried. And I also cried at It Ends With Us, but not as much as the other 3 that I mentioned. And these are my honorable mentions that were very sad, but I wasn't crying.
I'm too anxious to sleep, so watch me do the logical thing and read a whole book. One True Love's Taylor Jenkins Reid. TJR's characters always have my heart. You are happier to have known him than you are sad to have lost him. Halfway. I adore anything TJR writes. Oh God, not another ugly crying time-lapse Meg. Well, I'm less anxious, but I decay if I'm happy or sad at that ending.
Reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo in One Day.
She probably gives you butterflies. I hope you're happy, but not like how you were with me. I'm selfish, I know. I can't let you go. To find someone
This book
don't find no one better. I hope you're happy. I wish you all the best. Really say you love her, baby, just not like you love me.
Oh God.
Think of me fondly when your hands are on her. I hope you're happy, but don't be happier. But I guess you look happier.
I'm not okay. Reading If He Had Been With Me. Realizing I'm almost at the end. Cue the sobbing. Can you tell how mad I was?
No, because what was that? Damn, you guys weren't kidding.
Reading The Song of Achilles for the first time. Okay, now I'll be sad for 5 more days.